Okay, so hopefully you can hear me, but this is World of Tanks. Easy way to say it. This is the basics of World of Tanks. I do not have all my tanks set up here, but I want to explain a few things of the basics so you get what everybody else is getting it. So, let's just start with the simple, what you see first. Okay, first off, you are going to see a tank. You will probably see this tank or the tier 3 variant, or the tier 3 if you go to the American line, which would be this. If it's not this, then it's the Panzer 38T. Panzer is PZ. Themes would be right back here, and you go in, will be above that right there. So, let me explain this then. You just saw me click this little tank button. I can select specific types, light tanks, medium tanks, which has a light tank is just a solid diamond. Medium tanks is a diamond with 1 slash through it. Heavy tanks has 2 slashes to it and is normally the biggest one. Triangle is a tank destroyer, and a square is an SPG, also known as artillery. You got each nation: America, Germany, Soviet, which would be USSR, UK, British, French, Czechoslovakian, or the Czech tanks, Japan, Chinese, Polish, Swedish, and Italian. Now you got the tiers: tier 1 to tier 1 through 10, which I only have selected a few of them. They would turn gold, and you'll see only the gold ones are the ones selected. The special ones don't really do much, except they could show also rental vehicles with this. This is interesting because I have not seen this, but I don't have any of those tanks. Battle Pass is only tanks that have these Battle Pass points, but that is only for what is currently going on right now, which would be this. I'm going to act like this does not exist, because this is only, unless you're now, get this now and have it, and somehow get it to 10 within until June, which I highly doubt, unless if you're a completely new player, you're never going to do it. But other than that, you will not have it. But anyways, there is a specific thing that each tank has. I'm just going to go with the M48 pattern. So, you can see, before you see, as you see the tank, you see these are campaign missions, and these are your side missions. Normally you don't pay attention to side missions. You mainly focus on the campaign missions, especially while you're in battle. But that's about it. This is this tank. If you click it, it's a different tank each time. It's a premium tank. So as you can see, you see crew, or this would be female crew for me, because that's how I have it set up. But normally it's guys. But female crew members are special, and each female crew member you want to keep because it automatically comes with a perk. Now let's go to my commander. These are perks and skills. Once you get to a level, once you get to 100% trained, you can then get a perk. With female crew, you get a free perk and then an additional one that you start going up. So, Brothers in Arms, if the entire crew has Brothers in Arms, it boosts everybody's stat. It boosts the entire tank stats, traverse speed, damage, and so on. I'll explain more with that later on. Sixth Sense, which is you get 2-second delay when you get spotted. So if you are practically, you get seen, and then 2 seconds later it will tell you, oh look, you got spotted. There's a way to make it faster, but it costs. Jack of all trades, meaning if they, by the way, if your crew member gets hit or killed or damaged or whatever, they don't disappear or anything. So, but Jack of all trades, if one of them was, if my gunner, loader, or driver was to get hit or anything, and if I don't have my med kit up, which I'll explain in a bit, then my commander can cover it. It wouldn't be 100%. It will only, it's better to have that crew member there, unless it's a radio operator, then otherwise it doesn't matter. But other than that, it's good as it is, I'd say. But yeah, concealment, how to make your tank more concealed so you don't get spotted. So this thing is just extra in case. And usually you don't want that perk until you get, unless it's a medium, a light tank, or tank destroyer. Heavy tanks, not so much. You don't really need it. Artillery, well, if you get spotted, more than likely your team will have spotted something, so you would already know, and you'll probably be dead by the time you get spotted anyway, so it doesn't really matter, because you can't really go that fast. You're going to get out of the way if something rushes you. Other than that, your team is probably dead anyways. But I'll explain more into that. If, let's say, this was a 50% crew, which is how each thing starts off, I could just put 20,000 credits and get 200 gold for it. Now you might be wondering why this is less than this. Well, gold is like impossible to get unless you actually pay money, or they give you money, which is absolutely rare. Wargaming, which is the owner of this game, as you should know. But you could train it to each different type, and yeah, that's the basics of it. I have a 4 per crew for her. I didn't explain the other part. This one, Recon just explain it gives out more view range, which I'll explain also when I get over to this side. The crew here, Birds and Arms, because I gotta have it. Snapshot makes my turret. When my turret moves, your aiming time, there's a bloom on your screen that gets bigger if you move your tank, or if it has a turret, its turret. If you move it up or down, the gun, it doesn't move at all. But other than that, it's going to move. So I made it more accurate so it doesn't have that bloom. The bloom it's a circle around where you were shooting, where you were aiming, and it shows where the shot could possibly go in that circle. And the better the accuracy, the better. Deadeye is increasing the chance of shooting its crew, another tank's crew, and damaging its crew, or any modules such as tracks, gun, ammo rack, engine, fuel tank, so on. Concealment as well. And I have concealment on everything, including Brothers in Arms. Controlled impact, so if I was to ram somebody, or somebody was to ram into me, I would take less damage. And possibly, I think, do more damage. Yeah, and I would do more damage ramming. Smooth ride, same thing as a snapshot, but instead of for the gunner, it is for the driver. The gunner has a sight. The commander has a binoculars. Driver has a gear, and loader has ammo. The gear kind of looks like the sides or the wheels. But yes, those that, and then the loader, Broadside Arms, Intuition, which means it has a 20% chance. Has the smallest percent chance of, if I was to switch my ammo type, which I'll get to, then it will automatically do it with no reload. Situation awareness, which extends my view range as well, and then concealment. So, let me explain now. Let's go to this part. This is the gun, this is the turret, this is the engine, this is the tracks, this is the radio. Radio is only really useful to see in your map, like your tanks are where they're at, and where the enemy tanks are. Other than that, it's not a priority to get. It's the last thing that you want to research on any tank. If not, you probably already had it at low tiers. It's really easy to get. The gun, and all these icons look the exact same, so don't go off, oh, this is what the turret's gonna look like. Yeah, no. Sorry to burst your bubble there, but I am pretty sure that's, yeah. It has different names, and now you want to look at the armor. Armor, and traverse speed, and view range. Of course, most tanks are going to be good. But let's go to the Sherman, which is my first American Tier 5. So this is where turret comes in handy, or knowing your thing. First of all, you want to get tracks most of the time, okay? Top tracks so you get the best weight load limit and such. Engine, how fast you accelerate. Now that has nothing to do with your top speed. Top speed stays the same. Different engine just means how fast you will get up to it. It only has horsepower, 350. This one or the Sherman or the M4A1 has 350 at the stock. Stock is like you have nothing upgraded. 350, 400, and 460. You see, have 20% chance. That means if somebody was to hit it, it has a 20% chance of actually catching on fire, which most of the time you want to hit the fuel tanks in order to do that, which you cannot upgrade in this. Tracks, I already explained that. Turret, okay. So you see how it has better armor on the sides, because this says 50, this is 63. Because front, sides, rear. But this has higher at the front. It also has much higher, because if you look at it from a side angle, sure, has a bigger mantlet. But this is also angled. So it's even, in my opinion, it's better. That's why I have a mark on this. Now the gun, you want to look at damage, but then you want to look at pen, and then you want to look at rate of fire, which is kind of everything. Rate of fire is how many rounds you could get off per minute without perks and stuff. Damage is how much damage you will averagely do. That does not mean you will do, if I was to hit somebody, to do 410 to them each time, no matter what. That would come in with pen. Pen, if I hit it, if they have 53 millimeters of armor or less, I will pen them. And that's doing that 400 damage. But since this is a 105 and you only saw I had 2 things, as this had 3, yes, this thing has only HE and heat. There are different rounds. There are AP, armor piercing, APCR, armor piercing compound rigid rounds, heat, high explosive anti-tank, HESH, It's a different type of HE. HE is high explosive. HE or HESH is high explosive squash round, which is only with British tanks, and you will a lot of times see it with the 4005. But yeah, it has HESH rounds are able to have a ton of pen for HE and do a ton of damage. But as you see, it does damage, and you see how it has 1300 to 2100 damage. That means it can go no lower than 1300 damage, and go no higher than 2100 damage, which is pretty good because that's a one shot for most tanks. Was 2100. It's 2000 at least. It's most mediums. It's some heavies. HE has less pen, same thing. Phone. AP has is the standard round for most tanks, especially going up the lines. Also, this 310 pen for this pretty good, but 320 for the HESH is good and doing a lot more damage. AP rounds do less damage, but have higher penetration than HE or HESH. But like this, I only have APCR. This is the patent. It only does 390 average, but it could do 488 highest and 392 for lowest. Heat. Heat has the highest pen, especially on the Jaeger, which I will not explain every tank because that you learn the tanks as you go up each tier. But these are some of the ones I have, and this is 330 pen. The Jaeger's heat rounds do 420. You don't need it. Nobody really needs it, and this only has 53 pen on its HEP rounds, which is high explosive plastic, which it's just a weird name for it, I guess. So I'm going to shut my phone off. As you see, those are the rounds. This is a directive which boosts any of these equipment. There's different ones. Make sure this vertical stabilizer makes you go fat or aim better while on the move. Toolbox repair speed, of course. Don't really need this, except it practically lessens the chance of you catching on fire if it gets hit, or it increases the health of your fuel tanks. Gun lane drive, which means aim time is reduced. Coated optics, view range while moving. In binos or binoculars add view range as well, but you can only be sitting. But you have to demount this with gold, and while this you can demount it and put it on anything. So, but you can stack these and have a substantial amount of view range. View range is how far you can spot tanks and how well you can. Gun rammer increase the aim time, or not aim time, loading time, or decrease, I should say, not increase. You don't want to increase thing. Medium spall liner is better protection against ramming and explosions, and yeah, better protection for your crew. Mainly want to do it for tanks that have lighter armor, or sometimes you can put for your heavy tanks, or reasons if you get already focused, like that's why I have on my T29. But it's all up to you. Amarak durability with wet vents, you just add it, and practically this is the same. All this is the same thing, except you can get it with bond, which is this stuff. And camo net, which makes you get less seen if you're stationary. And then this stuff Here's your repair tool or repair kit. You want normally small repair kit for everything. And then for this, you could do manual. But I have food. For America, it's cola. But cola increases your cruise perks, I guess. And increases everything for your stats and stuff. Large repair kit just repairs everything at once but costs a ton. Same thing with repair kit or a med kit, but it's for crew. Automatic fire extinguisher, you don't have to press a button. If you get on fire, you take like a few, I think like 100 damage at max. This stuff you really don't need unless you're absolutely slow, like for engine power and traverse speed. But this stuff does the same thing as this, except you have to manually do it, and you can only do one module or one crew at a time. Except this, if you want to repair your tracks and both your tracks are down, they fix themselves. Fire extinguisher, you just have to manually go to the fire extinguisher. So that is all of this down here. Service, it's just going into this easier, or you can just click on these. Exterior, it's your camouflage of your tank. You have paints, camouflage, decals, emblems, inscriptions, and effects. This one I personally created, but you can go to preset styles and just get one already sorted out for you. Exit that, and you can have one different one for a summer map and stuff. Which, like, this will be considered a summer map, winter map, snow, desert. Yeah, you get the point. So now we're gonna make our way over to the right. As you see, bonds, gold, credits. Credits is your main money. If you don't, that's how you get repair. That's how you repair. That's how you resupply, and that's how you resupply this. You need credits. This is free experience in order to get different types of guns or something. So here you have firepower. Let's see it better. 390 average. There's your average. There's your average pen. It can go to 335 maximum, but you really want to go for stuff that is your pen or lower, because of the chances of, or if it's like a millimeter or two higher, it's okay. But other than that, you want it your pen or lower, because the chances of it actually penning 335 millimeters is slim to none. Or that would be for this tank at least. But penning that, no. At rate of fire, how many rounds I can get off each shot. The directive, the cola, improved ventilation, gun rammer, and brothers and arm skill all increase it, as you can see, by that many seconds. So it'll be 1 second. 1 second causes it a lot. So as you can see, I have mine down to 6.42 second reload. I got it all down to that much. Gun traverse speed is increased by those, but at the same time, yes. Like all that. Gun depression is to the left, elevation to the right. Elevation is how far you can go up, and gun depression is how far you can go down. For some reason, I guess Russian tanks don't have depression, because they have no gun depression, which makes me really depressed because I can't play certain tanks. Anything with less than 5 degrees, in my opinion, is utter trash. I'll get into that later. Well, I just did. Okay, that is firepower at its basics, traverse limits to the left and right, but that's that. Aim time, 1.67 means how long it takes for you to actually start aiming again, your bloom to start shrinking. Your accuracy, you want it as low as possible. This is 0.32. Average is about 0.35, I think, for all tanks combined, for high tiers at least. And this is how much damage if I was to continue firing at multiple tanks and pen every shot average. I think it's average. Yeah, average. Duh. But this is your DPM, or dares per minute. And it clearly, if I was to keep shooting, it would do that damage average if each shot was 390, 390, 390, 390 with a penny shot. It will do about that each shot. Well, at the end of a minute. Firepower, that would be firepower. Survivability, your hit points, what your raw armor is at the front, side, rear. Front, side, rear. Now this is 152 flat. But since you can see it's rounded and angled, so that means effectively it is not 152. I completely forget what it is. I think it's about 190 or so. I think 200. I want to say about 200 at the front. Effective. But anyways, angling is a key in this game. At this point, if you were to shoot here, you are not penning. Most likely. More likely. But if you were to shoot here, you're penning. Lower plate, same thing. Over here, maybe not. Turret, you are not penning the mantlet. Most of the time, do not shoot the mantlet of any tank. Unless it's Russian. Sometimes. Actually, no. A43, for example, shoot that. Pretty sure, yeah. But, shoot the sides with normal. But you have to shoot more to the side of the cheeks. Which should be, the cheeks is the side of the tanks. It'll be the side. Like, yeah. This is your cupola. Every tank have a type of cupola. This would be a cupola. These will be cupolas right here and right here, or the hatches. This really doesn't have a cupola. It has 14 millimeters of armor. I'm pretty sure you can pen it with a tier 1 HE round. That says something. But anyways, angling is a big thing for Russia. As you can see, piked. So if it's front, it's most effective here. Unless you do this, you can pen this, but you can't pen this. And so on. I can go more in depth with that, but I don't want to for the sake of time. This is long enough as it is. So that's the survivability, raw, and all that stuff. Mobility, how your top speed and how fast you can go forward and how fast you go backwards in that order. Forward, backward. Traverse speed, which is like turning left and turning right. If you were to stay in place and just turn like this or turn like this and so forth. How many degrees per second it will be. Same thing with the turret traverse itself. Specific engine power, performance of different terrain types. This is how much horsepower you have, how fast it takes, whatever, all that stuff. Weight load limit, how much your tank currently weighs compared over how much your tank actually can withstand. Concealment. Each tank is different, which is why I brought the Scorpion out. But this has a 15% chance of knocking spotted. 3% chance after firing. So it goes stationary, not firing, firing, stationary, firing. It's each different. Stationary while firing, I should say. Make it more clear. Moving and moving and firing. Moving and firing. It's a subnatural drop. This is much different. As you can see, 55% chance. I could sit. You want to use bushes, okay? If you shoot through a bush and there's a tank on the other side, and I have this, if there was a tank right there, and I was to take this tank, shoot it, from here to there, that's actually not that far. Usually I would be spotted, but since I have a high concealment, and I'm shooting through a bush that is not transparent, which means I can't see through it, but I can see their outline and stuff, and I hit them, they cannot spot me, or have a slight chance of actually spotting me, depending on their crew's spotting, which comes back to my patent. Single range, yes, I don't even bother with that because I already have it. I mean, all this stuff is maxed out. It used to not be. But the view range is how easily I can spot. You get a max circle view range on your thing. It's a green circle, and that's whatever's in there you can spot. If anything outside, you can't. But with the concealment, if they have a good concealment, even if they are in that circle, you cannot. But the better your view range is, you can then you don't have to be as close to them in order to spot them. If you get within 50 meters of any tank, it doesn't matter. It's proxy spot, and they automatically get spotted. But spotting outdoes concealment, and concealment outdoes spotting. So it kind of is a battle that you want to have upper hand of both. So that is that stuff. This is the battle types. Right now it's stronghold, or frontline. It's on. This is if you have a clan, barracks, tech tree, service record, campaigns, missions, depot, store, garage. Store is what you could buy like right now if I wanted to, but I can buy things with bonds, buy tanks with bonds. It's a lot of work to get bonds, except in this when you've done tons of stages and spent too many hours on this game. I don't want to go there. Depot is what you can sell. Just click it, like I want to sell this manual fire extinguisher. I know, but it only costs $3,000, and then I make money off of that. It's me personally, but yeah, don't have to sell everything. But I can also go back to my depot and recover tanks that I have sold because some of them are utter trash. I really miss the Skoda, but other than that, yeah, I kind of miss the Brett Panther as well. But anyways, missions, practically the same thing that's up here. Campaigns, same thing here. Missions, campaigns. Service record is what you have. You want a higher PR, means how good you are at the game, I guess. Victories and damage and all that stuff. These are your, all this is kind of self-explanatory. Not really needed in this game, except just like, oh, see how well you actually are doing compared to people. The Top Gun, high caliber, like 6 kills, all that. That's a different video. Tech tree is all those branches, which you call, of each tank you can get in this game, except premium vehicles. Well, you mean there's premium vehicles, but not all of them. This is Russian, and then you will start to see it's slimmer, way down to 1 to 2 to 3 lines. Lines of these. I have this all done because I am. I just went through it. It was fun. But yes. But anyways, yes. I have most of the tanks in America researched. But the best time would probably start doing it now is because then you can get the good tanks that they are sadly starting to remove. But anyways, while I'm here, I will go into blueprints. You see here, for this I have 54 for national. You have national, it's a different type for how many whatever you have for that line. Universal, as you can see, does not change. It means it can be used for anything. Blueprints practically make the putting it out much easier. So now I took put a discount practically on it, 48%. Now with half of it done, and then when I free XP it would be much easier. to actually, you know, get, which I might actually get. Never mind. Like, holy crap, I might actually do that. And yeah, see, now, with my free XP, I could get the tank without even using this tank. Which I wish I kinda did, because I like T20. Some tanks are similar, okay? But yeah. Now, roles in this tank, in this game, are simple. I do not have a light tank currently in my garage, which, this is your garage. But yes, barracks, by the way, before I forget, this is like what your people are in, okay? And then recruits. Ooh, I gotta do that soon. But yes, you can enlarge them and so on. So, here we go for the fun part. This is a crucial concept to know. Most of the time, if you're a light tank that's tier 4 or higher, the thing with light tanks that you gotta know is their concealment, if I remember this correctly, does not change unless they have a camo net. Yeah, it does not. While moving and shooting, it's the same thing if they were stationary. Now, camo net would make it different, but you get the point. Camouflage, if you put camo on your tank, it increases it by 3%. As you can see, this ain't enough. But yes, light tanks spot things. They make it so it's easier to get a higher view range on the thing. Medium tanks, if there is no light tanks at a higher tier, support or scout. That's why I have my patent scouting, so I could spot for myself and spot for my team. You also want to, I guess, yeah, you're more of a support tank for both sides. If you are going with mediums and lights only, you are the technically heavy tanks of that side, which there's more into it. But let me just explain this too. There are different types of tanks, like such as the 416. And this tank does not go up, and I mean it can brawl. It will brawl. It can out DPM almost anything at this tier. Actually, not its tier, but like the DPM out DPM a lot of it. But anyways, it's considered a sniping tank, so that's what TDs usually do. But TDs can also brawl, which I love doing in this thing, and it's hilarious. But some others have to sit more in the back, which most TDs do, and they provide heavy hitting fire to most tanks. Not all the time is a heavy hitting, but then they make up for it with the rate of fire have that low damage. Heavy tanks. You're the armor. You do not need the gun. You have a gun that can go through things, but you do not need to be doing everything unless you're by yourself. But other than that, you are the one to take. You're supposed to take all the damage, but you can block it most of the time. Not every tank, but you also got to know how to use your armor. But you are the main fighting force, and most heavy tanks are heavy hitters, such as the T29. I put a spall liner on it because of how many times artillery focuses it. Let me get into artillery, which is the last line that I should have to get to. This is the American one, 240mm, the biggest gun in this game. These things sit in the back of the map. As you saw, this is at my patent had 2,000 health for tier 10. This is a tier 10. It only has 500 hit points. That's a one-shot. Also has absolutely terrible armor. But yes. There. That is all of this. There, you could create a platoon if you have friends. And you hit the battle button. This is your premium time. Most of the time I don't have it. I got this for free. And doing these stages. And then you got your name, so on, so forth. Radio man. Sometimes you have 2 gunners or 2 loaders, which such as my SU-100Y, which I will show you right now. Because why not? Now I just made this easier. 2 gunners, 2 loaders. My favorite tank right now, ISU-152, 152mm gun, 260 pen. Right. 152s typically, and then each caliber of the gun does typically the same thing, except in higher things like a 105 at tier 7 only does 320, but a 105 at tier 10 it does either 420 or 390, such as the Patton, which is a 105. But just as the basics, I know this is a terribly long video and I have to listen to this, but yeah, know how to do the armor, know how to know your tank is practically what I'm saying, and know what your role is and what your tank is capable of doing, and where you can put yourself without putting your tank in harm's way. Use your armor of your tank, and if you are a light tank, God bless it, freaking spot stuff, so I don't have to. I didn't have to risk myself so you could sit in the back and act like a TD, because you're not. Sorry, unless you're at 5 hit points, I want to see you in the middle, spotting things or something. Well, that's it. So, and then hit battle, and you go into a thing, game. It only has, most time it's +1 minus, or +2 -2 matchmaking. Tier 10 it's +0 -2 matchmaking. Or same tier and 2 under. Tier 3 cannot see tier 5s, but tier 4 and tiers can see tier 6s. So tier 4 is when it starts getting good and painful. But yes, that should explain a lot of the answers, except one more thing. Mark of Excellence. First mark, 65% of the people who play that tank you are better than. Most of my tanks are. 2 marks. Where is it? 2 marks, 85% better. It will not go away if your percentage goes under 85 or 65 or anything. They do not disappear. 95 is 3 marks, which means you're better than 95% of players. 100%, I haven't seen that yet. But yes. And it depends on how much damage you do and how much you have to do and all that stuff. It's hard to explain, except I'll explain it the easiest way. In order to get higher up in this, in the T29 you have to do about 1500 to 2000 damage a game in order to go up. For my ISU, which I'm currently at 79.24, I have to do 1600 to 2000 in order for it to go up to from like 10% or 0.10% up to, oh, I don't know, 0.5%. Sorry for that long pause, I was actually thinking of it. But yeah, if I do more, 3000, I do about 1% or 75% of a percent. And yeah, then it just, yeah, it goes up from there. Thank you for watching. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them.